Bass harmonic jam session. Today you're going to learn what a harmonic actually is and how to use it in your bass solo arrangements like this. Alright, well hello again, and if you're new here, welcome. This is I Want to Play Bass, your YouTube channel with all your bass guitar tips and bass guitar gear reviews and an occasional giveaway. So subscribe, hit that bell notification, get in the loop, you don't want to miss a beat. And I'm Donald with the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. So harmonics, bass harmonics is what we're going to talk about today. The actual definition of a harmonic is an overtone accompanying a fundamental tone in fixed intervals. So there's a lot more to dig into that definition. So I'll start with the fundamental tone. That is considered this right here. This is just a fundamental tone is basically an open string. The vibration of that, the fundamental frequency is the vibration of that particular note. Each note, so G, this is a fundamental tone right there, and that is included in the harmonic series. So even an open string is a harmonic note, but people usually, when we think of harmonics, we think of the higher pitch, the overtone, as being a harmonic, but this is included in the harmonic series, just an open string. So we'll talk about the G string here. It's just an open string right there. That is the fundamental tone. That's the fundamental frequency right there. So the distance from the bridge, saddle, and the nut is this distance right here. Is the fundamental frequency, the fundamental tone. Now it's said in fixed intervals. So that means in every fixed interval, there's a harmonic. So you take the distance right here, and if you split that directly in half, you've got that right there. You've got that harmonic, and then if you cut it in thirds, you've got this harmonic and this harmonic. Okay? And if you'll notice, the harmonic on the 7th fret and the 19th fret are identical. That's because of the intervals, and I'll get more into that in a minute. So that's what it is, a fixed interval. So you've got this distance here, this distance here is a fixed interval, right? So you've got, that's your fundamental tone, that's your first harmonic right there, your fundamental tone, your fundamental frequency. Now you subdivide that, you split that in half, you've got the overtone. This is and that's what the overtone is. The overtone means that it's the higher pitch in this, and that's directly in the middle, so that's a G as well. Now I use this one here when setting up my bass, and if you jump over at iwanttoPlayBass.com, get your free ebook, it tells you all about that, the fine tuning. That's how we fine tune our instrument. We use this right here. This should be identical to that, the octave G and the overtone, the harmonic G. So that's identical, that's half. That's exactly half of the length of this string right there. That interval is exactly half. So that's one thing about harmonics. They just because you're playing this harmonic here and you move up higher in the neck does not mean it's going to be a higher note at all. This is going to be the same. It's intervals. That's all it is. See, now we'll break it up into thirds. Okay, so we've got this distance here, the 7th fret to the fret nut. That distance is identical from the bridge to the 19th fret, and it's the same harmonic. So it doesn't matter if you move up higher that the pitch is going to be higher or anything. it's just broken up into intervals. They're fixed intervals. Now that's what the overtone is, and it's also considered. You'll hear somebody talk about partials or upper partials. That's another name. The terminology is used interchangeably. Like I say, harmonics is the entire, even the open string is the harmonic, and the overtones are the actual harmonics is what we're talking about. That's actually an overtone, but people use them interchangeably, and you just can't call this G an overtone because it isn't. This would be the overtone G. Okay, so that's how it is. You've got identical intervals, and that's what makes this the harmonics. And you have in those when you break it up into thirds, and these are called nodes, by the way. When you end this fret nut, and here is a node. The ends of the string is a node. So this, once you produce this harmonic here, you've created a node right there. You've broken this interval up to be that distance right there, or this distance. Okay, so that's a node as well. A harmonic, another less often used, and it's really not the music terminology. I mean, it's a node. It is musical terminology, but you're not going to say play a node, play a G node. You could, but it's not typical. You're not going to hear, somebody's not going to ask you to play a G node, but if they did, for some odd reason, you would know where to go there. So that's how you break it up in the intervals. Okay, and that's how it is. That's how just the physics behind it works that way, is in the intervals and the vibration of the string. So to produce a harmonic, you simply just take lightly, kind of like playing a ghost note. You just lightly touch that string and you let it ring out. And those three are your main ones. They're going to be the most easy to produce. There's harmonics all over, but some of them are just a little harder to produce. You can divide this into several sections, getting a harmonic everywhere, but some places you just can't get it. And so I'll give you a little tip at the end of this thing on how to know these notes, how to dial it in a little better, so you can memorize them and know where they are, so you can be at a moment's notice. You can just pull one out. So that is the makeup of a harmonic, an overtone accompanying a fundamental tone in fixed intervals. So that fixed interval is where you're going to get that harmonic right there. That tone, this distance and this distance is identical to this distance and this distance. So this harmonic is going to be up here as well. And you don't have to play them directly over. And I can pull a harmonic. Let me see if I can pull a harmonic. You can pull them anywhere. The standard place is right above the fret, the metal fret that is right there. The wire that is considered the fret is the wire. It's not the space between the frets, it's the fret. So this identical spot to play this G is right above that fret. And even here, there's certain places that it's just a little short of the fret, and it's just a little longer. And that's just something you'll remember, and as you get more familiar with it, it'll get easier. But that does not mean you can play, like I said, you can play harmonic up here. Only thing you're looking at is, only thing that this is involved in is this length of these strings, and everything to this G string is relevant on the A string, D, A, E, and B string. Okay, so it's all, they're separate. It's like their own entities. This does not mean, so this is its own fundamental tone, the distance there, and you get these, but it's identical to each string. Each string is broken up the same way. It's the same distance. It's just that this string is a heavier gauge, and the frequency, the vibration is slower, being a lower frequency. So that's the only difference, is just this string in itself. So, like I say, I'll give you a little tip here that, go out and get yourself one of these bad boys, or get you a snark, a headstock tuner, to where if you get your tuner that's in your signal chain, as soon as you start checking these harmonics, you're gonna interrupt your signal, so you're not gonna hear it. So ideally, you can play along, and you can just hit your tuner, your snark, and it'll tell you what harmonics you're playing. Just as long as it's the only note ringing. If you've got several notes ringing, it's just going to struggle with it. So just make sure you got a nice clean signal. You can tell that's D. So get that, and that'll help you in composing your stuff. Like I say, you can see that that's a D or C sharp. I say as you get familiar with it, you'll know this is a C sharp, and you know that these are all the octave. This is G. This is your octave harmonic, your overtone right there. And when you know tuning, you know that you've got your D right there, D, A, E. And you know these are the same notes right there. Okay, so we know that. So you can still get away with just knowing those. You can play some music just using the fifths and the octaves and just listening to it and what sounds nice. But another way to be able to know what notes you're going for or where these pitches are, get your snark headstock tuner and turn it on, play it, and then you can find them. So like in the beginning, I showed you that little part. I'll go through that again and just solo it. It's in the key of D, D major. And I just moved through the chord progression, the 1, 3, 2, 5. Okay, so the 1 was for 2 bars, the 3 was for 1 bar, the 2 was for 1 bar, and then the 5 was for 2 bars, and then back to the top. Okay, so that was the chord progression of that the interlude in the very beginning. And we'll go through it again, but it's just like I say, so I went with D. These are tones. It's a D. You got D, you got the F sharp and the A in there. And then you got the F sharp. And then I did the E, G, and D. E on that. You got actually an E7, E minor 7. That's all it is. So I'll let you hear it again. I'll play along with it. Like I said, I'm just soloing in D major. I'm not going. I might move through the chords as I did in the beginning. The first one that was moving through the chord progression. I might just solo right over it. So, all right. So hope you got some value out of this. And if you did, hit that like button. Help me help you. And I will catch y'all on the flip flop in the next video. So bye now and enjoy this. Bye.